Iraqi forces continued their push toward the old city of Mosul this weekend. Troops on the ground are closing in on the Al-Nouri Mosque, a strategic and symbolic prize. It's part of a massive operation to push ISIS out of Mosul and reclaim the country's second largest city. CBS News correspondent Charlie D'Agata joins us now on the phone from Erbil, which is in northern Iraq. Charlie, let me begin by asking you, how close are Iraqi forces to fully liberating Mosul from ISIS control?
Elaine, fully liberating Mosul maybe weeks, maybe even possibly months off. And the reason is this: as they continue to clear those neighborhoods, you said the Al-Nouri Mosque, which is in the old city, they're now getting close to these congested streets, and you can't take the armored vehicles down those streets. The U.S. military who's there, who's firing artillery, they can't fire artillery into those neighborhoods. It's harder to direct airstrikes. It's harder for helicopter gunships to get in there. And there are hundreds of thousands of people who are still in those neighborhoods, and we've seen thousands, tens of thousands of civilians trying to see. And as Iraqi forces enter those neighborhoods, it's not even a level playing field anymore. It's actually stacked in ISIS's favor because they've been holding this territory for a couple of years. They know the neighborhoods, they know the weak spots, they know the blind spots, and they have an absolute regard for civilian losses. So they're fighting within these civilian neighborhoods. And especially when you think about American airstrikes, trust me, I've witnessed the strength and the effectiveness of these airstrikes in open fighting in places like Mosul and Fallujah and places like Sinjar. When you don't have to worry about a civilian population there, they are incredibly effective in dislodging ISIS fighting positions. And that's fine when they took over the airport, when they could strike ISIS in an area that they didn't have to worry about civilian casualties. They had the advantage. But now as you get closer to these areas where you've got lots of civilians inside these congested areas that aren't able to leave, it's much more difficult to ascertain a target that is actionable, without undue risk to civilians.
Charlie, explain for us, what is the symbolic importance of the Al-Nouri Mosque? Why is it so coveted by both sides?
Yes, Elaine, the Al-Nouri Mosque is within the eyesight. They're a few hundred meters away from the Al-Nouri Mosque. This is where Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who's the leader of the so-called caliphate, announced the formation of the caliphate. So there's a symbolic victory in that. But the crazy thing is, for the past week or so, maybe 10 days, the Iraqi forces have continued to say they're in that neighborhood. They can see the mosque. But we're not talking about advances that are 100 meters a day. We're talking about 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, and then they face a counterattack. So as they're trying to get to that mosque, and as far as the Iraqi forces are concerned, I have to tell you, they don't see that. Of course, it's a great symbolic prize. It will show the beginning of the end of the caliphate. This is the place where Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi declared the caliphate. We haven't seen him since 2014. It will be a major victory and a defeat morally for ISIS. As far as they're concerned, they want to continue clearing Mosul. The mosque just happens to be in the neighborhood that they're clearing at the moment. ISIS is fighting hard. In fact, harder than they have ever fought. In the 6-month battle, this started in September, October. Think about how far back that was. The kids back to school, Halloween. Fierce fighting has been going on for the past 5-6 months to try to liberate Mosul, and they have got a lot of work to do.
Becoming more and more intense. Charlie D'Agata in Erbil for us. Charlie, thanks so much.